What are you eating?
It's the RIOT podcast, by the way.
They know that.
I'm
what
having
are you
a
eating?
leftover chicken tender. Why not? Of course I am. Why not? My snack or breakfast is usually like a leftover thing from like the night before. It's the easiest to bring to work. Why are you laughing at me? Why?
I don't know. There's just something funny about it. What are you eating? Well, it's chicken fingers.
It's a chicken tender.
It's 9 o'clock in the morning. What do you care?
I had 1.5 left over from yesterday, so I was like, all right, that's my snack.
More importantly, on the inside, Nikki's going, why is what I'm eating topic of conversation?
Listen.
I eat what I want to eat.
I have no problem with that. But when I look back over a collection of us talking about it at various points, I can feel a little, not ashamed, but embarrassed that it's not your traditional snack items.
You know what, Nikki? You're going to start a new tradition.
Eat what I want. Hey, listen, the United States, okay, we're one of the only countries where we dictate a breakfast-style food and like a snack-style food, where if you go to other parts of the world, food's just food and you can eat anytime you want to.
Whatever you want to eat.
I got a piece of chicken in my tooth, though, so I got to get it out.
I just want you
Hurry
to know.
up, I got to get it out. It's stuck in my tooth. I'm going to turn around. Tell them about it while I turn around and get it out.
Okay. Oh, what's that on the back of your head?
I don't have anything on the back of my head. Stop it! I can't turn anywhere. There's nothing. Stop it. You're making me. I don't know. I can't.
All right. Today in the podcast, we go couch shopping.
Yeah, we do.
We talk about coffee. Like, that's new. Godzilla
makes an appearance.
Wait, is this the Friday show?
No, it's the same thing.
We talk about San Francisco, McDonald's, Google's AR, and I'm looking for a new friend. So if you have you're going to have a lot of movies, and I'm going to need a list and a commitment to buy more. So it's in there.
If you feel like you are that perfect person, then you can email us anytime, riot@radiou.com, or message us at RadioU Riot on our Facebook page. Make sure you follow us there.
Nikki, that reminds me, a couple of texts since, Destiny texted us to say, me and my stepsister freaking loved Godzilla. My only bone to pick was the whole humans are bad, we need balance message.
Well, they got to have some sort of message in there.
And then Jamie in New York says, May 30th podcast, Obadiah quote, honey mustard covers over a multitude of sins, culinary or otherwise. Obadiah, could you please elaborate on what the otherwise might be? Jamie, I leave that to you.
Yeah, that's just an open-ended statement to then put it on to you to reflect for what that means in your life.
What do you have in your life that you need honey mustard to cover?
I
want you to know I put it on a baked potato yesterday.
Or a
chicken tender for breakfast,
where someone's having leftovers. So I think we've gone full circle.
I think that's all we need.
Okay.
Enjoy the podcast. Bye.
Using advanced technology, we've digitized and transcoded Obadiah and Nikki into a purely digital format. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Story time.
So, Nikki, I don't know if you can tell by looking at me, but I'm a garage sailor now.
Did you do a garage sale?
Yep.
And the wedding on Saturday? That's a long day.
I know. Like, you can see it all on my Pinterest page. That's what it sounds like.
He DJ'd a wedding, so he had a busy day.
I did DJ a wedding, just, hanging out.
I love garage sale. I've never been to a garage sale, like, to buy stuff, but I've sold at a garage sale, and I love selling stuff at garage sales.
You've never been?
No, I've never gone through because our communities would have these big garage sale things.
Did you ever go to them?
I've never gone. Around? No, because I've always just had it at my house, and then by the time I was done, it would all be over with. So I've never been to one.
That's why you leave Eric behind and you go do some wandering.
I'd be afraid I'd spend all the money I'd end up making from selling all the stuff, and then you'd end up with more stuff back.
No, it doesn't tell the whole story when I tell you that I'm actually not much of a garage sailor, because in general, whatever crap you have, I don't need it. And you're like, yeah, but wait. Nope. I really don't, because
it's all the same stuff.
It is. Basically, you and I are exchanging garbage. It's fine, whatever. But one of my roommates was like, hey, bro, go 3 places down, I think, whatever. And so I was like, well, all right. So I went down there and pretended just looking around, whatever.
So was there a community garage sale, or just someone was having one?
There was, but there was a couch for sale. And normally, I'm not buying furniture at a garage sale. Because, I mean, I don't know what you're doing on it. I don't know.
Especially from a neighbor. I mean, they always know that's where it went.
Well, and it's stuff where it's like, are you somebody that likes to come home and sit on the couch naked? The cloth couch, So, I mean, I don't know if I can...
In the hot summer months.
I don't know if I can scrub that out, whatever. This was a pleather theater seating couch.
Yeah.
So it was like 3 seats, recliners, big cup holders and all this stuff. I'm like, I don't need this. And I was like, wait, $100? I'll take it.
Did you buy it?
I totally bought it.
So it's 3 chairs?
It's 3 chairs. So, I mean, me and 2 lucky people...
now have theater seating.
Can head into my basement for a reclining seat
Feels
experience.
Like a trap. It's there, but...
Well, they have a couple of dogs, but again, it's pleather. So I went through, scrubbed it all down. Totally fine.
So no allergy problems?
No sneezies, no problems. And I was sitting there last night and I was like, well, this is it. I don't ever have to go to the movies again. Like this, the only thing they had left to offer me was seating like this.
And now you have theater seating.
And now I have this.
Oh, I'm happy for you. Congratulations.
I still feel a little weird about it. Like, I went to a garage sale. That alone feels a little weird because I'm not a garage sailor. But then, too, to be like, and I bought this couch. And then I began to realize, I think every piece of furniture I own, I bought from somebody and not from a store.
Well, a collection. It's good to reuse.
I'm a recycler. That's what I am. I love to earth.
You're upcycling.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad you got it.
So now, Nikki, when you come over to watch movies with me, which you never have, just like you've never garage sailed, maybe now I have comfortable enough seating that you come over.
I've been waiting. I didn't want to tell you, but I wasn't going to come over until I had my own theater seating with my own cup holder.
Maybe now that I have a couch like this, I'll have friends.
Everybody's going to come over now.
Everybody,
only
look what
3
I
people, actually 2 plus you.
Hey,
but at least that's more.
That's more than sitting down there alone.
Wait till college football season. You're going to be the best house to go to.
What else do I need for friends? I put a popcorn thing down there too.
What else do you want from me?
I'll do whatever it takes. Be my friend.
Okay, I'm putting the desperation stuff to the side.
It's fine.
It seems like you had a great purchase, and that was really a good idea.
Carl says now you can truly understand my 3-year hiatus from the theater.
From not going to the movie theater?
No, Carl.
If you just wait out the movie, you'll be more comfortable watching it at home.
Joe says I have yet to buy a piece of furniture. Go, Joe. Got to get tough. Yo, Joe.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Too many guys got the stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's the Riot on RadioU.
Anybody else feel like they need a cup of coffee right now? Great news!
Add some more to it.
Great news!
Because you're not having enough.
Okay, here's what's happening. There is, what was the British Cardiovascular Society Conference? It's happening in Manchester. There's going to be some research that's going to be presented that was partially funded by the British Heart Foundation. It's coffee research. So I didn't even know this was a thing, but apparently they think too much coffee is bad for you because it, quote, stiffens your arteries.
Really?
Yeah, it's news to me.
I just thought it just would do stuff to your heart and just, make your body not able to handle things and you just kind of lose it.
See, that's what I thought. My thought was like, well, you shouldn't drink so much coffee because your heart's going to beat faster and eventually you end up punching all your coworkers.
Yeah. So
not that we've seen that kind of behavior.
It's not the medical term officially, but
but apparently one of the big concerns with coffee was the stiffening of the arteries that leads to stroke. Mm-hmm. And here's what they found. They took a bunch of very lucky people
who were a part of a coffee study.
Uh-huh. And they had some that got less than a cup a day and then some that got 5 cups a day. And those 5-cuppers and those less than a cuppers did, in fact, not show any difference in their arteries.
In the hardening of it?
Mm-hmm, that's right.
So that led to them saying that we can have way more cups of coffee.
Okay, that's the thing that I don't understand, because the headline of the article
is telling us way more.
Says that you can have up to 25 cups a day. And so what they found is that they had in that group, they had people that drank like less than a cup or they had 5 or more cups. And some people in that study group drank 25 cups of coffee a day. And those people
Were fine.
showed no less hardening of the arteries than the others. Now, let's also keep in mind, though, the article doesn't tell the whole story because they're literally talking about one thing.
Yeah.
Coffee could have other effects on your body. They're just saying at least you don't have to worry about it stiffening your arteries.
They said they want to study these people more closely in the future so that they can help advise safe limits for coffee. And I feel like the 25 cupper cannot possibly be good for us. That's probably going to be way too much in the long run.
As somebody who does enjoy coffee, let me tell you.
You couldn't do that.
No, I could not. I'm to a place now where I'm probably drinking about 3 cups in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And unless I'm desperate, I've been trying to cut out the midday coffee, which is too bad because, Chris puts on a pot and you're just like, hey, let's hang out.
Like, I can have at least 22 more.
We're having yeah. You know what? I'm still drinking a lot less than could be allowed.
Apparently, it could be way worse than that.
25 cups of coffee.
With like the jitters and just the nervousness and the anxiety, I wouldn't even know how that'd be possible for somebody.
I can't fathom what that would do to me. Cannot fathom
So
it.
does anybody drink up to... What's your numbers?
Actually, yeah. Okay.
What is everybody's numbers of cups of coffee?
I love that, Nikki. Text us, 877-2-RADIO-U. I just want to take a brief RIOT survey. How many cups of coffee are you drinking? And if you have a tumbler that's full, it's like a 24-ouncer, that's 3 cups. That's actually technically 4 cups.
Sure.
According to the FDA, a cup of coffee is 6 ounces, not 8.
Well, Aaron texted said 25 cups of anything really is probably going to kill you.
Unless it's water.
You're right. There is an exception to that, Aaron.
Unless it's water. Come on.
Jason said, on a positive note, 25 cupper, very productive.
Heck yeah.
Thank you, Jason, for texting.
Yeah, and Jake says that decaf is against the Lord's plans.
Well.
You know what? I feel that.
So how many cups of coffee does everybody drink?
All right.
Yeah!
You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
We were asking you how much coffee you drink every morning.
Because this article is coming from a study where they're like, up to 25 cups of coffee. You won't have any, they say you should not have any hardening of your arteries.
Good news.
Apparently is what you're not wanting, but people were worried about with coffee, but I couldn't imagine 25 cups or even getting close to 25 cups.
Good news, everybody. 6 to 7, says Jason in Blacklick. So, Jason, you're in the market for an additional 18 cups of coffee a day.
You're not even, scratching at that surface.
Yeah. Zach says he drinks 5 to 6 cups a day. I'm feeling 19 to 20 more, Jake, 4 cups of caffeinated coffee. That feels like maybe you're hiding some decaf.
You want to make sure that it's not decaf.
Mm-hmm. And let's see, Justin, I went 38 years of my life coffee-free. I've been struggling on my drive home from work to stay awake, so I started drinking 2 cups in the afternoon.
Ooh, just a light little afternoon dusting of caffeine.
See, Justin, I have to be careful with afternoon coffee because here's what I find is afternoon coffee is awesome in the afternoon, but in the evening, it seems to make me a little angry.
But I think it's also because
Angsty.
we go to bed at different times and get up so early. So I think that's mostly our schedule where someone else could probably stand to have a few more afternoon cups of coffee and it won't hurt them so bad.
How you doing? Shut up! Don't look at me! What?
We just know not to ask Obie any afternoon questions.
Fine. I don't see it as being a really big deal.
Everything's perfectly fine.
So Joe says, I have not had caffeine in over a year. I hate my life.
Oh,
you know what?
That's nice.
Joe, I did that for a while. And you know how you do that? And I've done both. I've been off soda for a while and then off caffeine completely. I did that for a while. And you always walk around for a while like, I'm living my best life. I feel so good. I've never had more energy. I've never been more alive.
Except when I was drinking coffee.
And then eventually you're like, you know what? Who wants to feel alive anyway? Pass me that coffee.
All it takes is one more piece of bread or one more sip of coffee and you're back in the game.
Nikki's right, man. That's exactly what happens to you.
And then you can never go back. It's like when something pops out of a box and you can never shove it back in the way it was.
Yeah, it's true. Which is why, I did that no carb thing for a while. And boy, I was like, I've never lived this good of a life. I'm so happy.
And now you're like, why can't I do it ever again?
Then one night, Brad knocked at the door like, hey, what are you doing?
With his cup of coffee.
I was like, look, you and me, just a little nibble, and then I got to go. And the next thing you know, I'm eating whole loaves of bread.
Seems like most people, though, in our RIOT study was like 4 to
6.
4 to 6 seems to be the normal amount you guys are coming back with.
Yeah. So, all this talk, I should probably go make some coffee.
You should do your French press.
Mm-hmm. It's waiting for me. Listen closely. You can hear it.
It says, will you please push the plunger?
Please come here, please.
It's been way too long.
Giving every novelty food the publicity it so blatantly desires. It's The Riot on RadioU.
Nikki, Godzilla happened over the weekend.
Yes. Everybody wondered, how would Godzilla do?
You know what I'm tired of hearing about? I'm tired of everybody talking about how disappointing Godzilla was at the weekend box office. You know what? Cheer for him. Don't you dare bad talk him.
I feel like people were, I don't know what they were expecting number-wise, but it doesn't seem like what actually happened or what a possibility could have matched that expectation that the people were saying.
Come on, Nikki.
But I felt like it actually made way more than I thought it was going to make.
Yeah, it made $49 million in the United States, and then it made $130 million internationally. Now, is that Avengers money?
No.
It's not. But it's good, guys.
It's good.
He did fine. Don't you badmouth Godzilla, because I'm going to go see it again.
So for Godzilla, I think the one in 2014 made like 90-something million on its release weekend.
Yeah.
So it's obviously less than that, but there was a long time between the two movies.
I think the problem is a lot of people, what they managed to do with the Godzilla 2014 was be like, hey, we know you guys don't want to see a Godzilla movie, so this is like a, it's like a real movie that happens to have Godzilla in it, okay? The sequel has been like, we know what you want. You want to see a Godzilla movie. And everybody's like,
all the monsters.
No, we don't. We don't really. Yes, you do. And you're going to see all of it.
Like I said, though, that's more than I thought it was going to make.
Yeah.
Going into the weekend, I was afraid you'd see like, it made 20 million or something, but it did better than that.
Well, the sequel is a done deal. And so, they're working on that right now.
The sequel to this one, because this one technically is a sequel.
That's right.
Yeah, so you're talking about the one following this one.
What I'm saying is the Monsterverse. They're dedicated to doing this thing. So they're going to do this, and then they're going to do the King Kong versus Godzilla. But they were saying that Kong made like $75 million or something its opening weekend. But see, I don't feel like that counts because it opened in March.
Yes, it didn't have as much conflicts with it.
There ain't nothing happening. Nothing's happening in March. You're just like, I'll do anything. I'll watch anything. It's March. So maybe Godzilla would be better in March.
At a different time.
Then, whatever. And I'll just say this for what it's worth. The trailers were better. Like for the original Godzilla, the 2014 one. Man, that one where they grabbed the music from 2001, and I know you don't know that's what it was.
Is that where they jump out the plane?
Yes.
With the flares?
Yep.
Yeah, and you're like, what's behind them?
That trailer
you're right.
was one of the best trailers I feel like I've ever seen because it was just so crazy.
So suspenseful?
Yes, and they did not manage to, but it's not that kind of movie either. So,
doesn't matter if it is. With trailers, you just make it whatever you want to.
You do that.
You do that if you want.
I'm totally going to see Godzilla again. I don't know when exactly, but it's happening.
I hope to see it.
I want to see it again. Oh, that was sad.
I know. I didn't have a lot of heart behind it, right? No, I was just thinking I already have plans to see another movie this weekend.
I hope to see it.
And I wanted to see it tomorrow because our theater does like a cheap Tuesday thing.
Yeah.
But then since I already made plans for another movie on Saturday, part of me was like, well, we're getting into a lot of movies now. And I just saw John Wick 3. And
it's summer.
I know it is.
That's what you do. You go to the movies.
I'm hoping if I don't go tomorrow, I don't feel like I can, then do I want to go next Tuesday or is that too close to Saturday? I'm not sure yet.
So Adam just texted. He said, hey, I'm not interested in Godzilla at all, but if I were to try to get into the newer ones, where do I start or just watch the newest one? Well, If you want to go to the movies, you see the new one.
I think it's good in theaters.
It is good in theaters, and you could watch the new one and not feel, too left out.
Like you're not following the storyline.
Yeah, but I actually think that Godzilla 2014 and Kong Skull Island are both pretty good movies. I mean, like, Kong didn't blow me away, but it's pretty good. Captain Marvel's in it.
All we're really saying is we're just into movies that are just pretty good. That's all we want.
Listen, pretty good. I mean, look at the crap you watch on TV. Pretty good, right? Same thing.
Actually, yeah, the stuff on Netflix.
Pretty good.
Well, it's not even that. You're like, okay, you're just making do.
Everything you love about the Riot, plus a handy-dandy fast-forward option. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Remember that time Amazon tried to say it?
I do remember that.
Do you remember that?
Oh my gosh, how did we not? I feel like you've missed telling us what we actually need to remember.
Oh, I think they got it, Nikki. I think they got it. Do you remember the time Amazon tried to sell us a cell phone?
A cell phone? Oh, yeah, they did a cell phone, didn't they?
Oh,
it was an unlocked one, and it was pretty reasonably priced, I think.
Was it?
Well, I thought so. That's why people were wanting to go to them.
I thought that it was I thought it wasn't. I thought it was, everybody was like, man, that's way too expensive for
what it was.
It was the Fire phone. It released, here we go, July 25th, 2014. And it's still out there, kind of. They discontinued it 27 August 2015. Mm-hmm. It had a 2.1 megapixel camera on the front.
Sure.
I don't have a listing on the back here, but
I bet it was a party.
Oh, sure, it was amazing. 4.7-inch screen, Gorilla Glass 3.
Oh.
Wow.
What old specs. Yay.
Yeah. So, with the Amazon Fire phone, it really didn't take off. Like, it really didn't take off. It tanked big time.
But I think that might have been a little early for its time. Now it is acceptable to, go rogue.
Have a crappy phone.
Have a phone that's not directly attached to your carrier.
Like this one?
Yeah, like yours.
Like you, Obadiah. Like, for all the cheap people in the world.
People are into that sort of thing.
So, well, that's because, I don't know if you've noticed, phone prices have skyrocketed.
Yeah.
$1,200 for a phone. It suddenly makes a $200 phone. You're like, what a savings.
I'll do anything for that.
That's so inexpensive. How do you do that?
But from like 2014 and 15, I don't think everybody felt that way back then. Prices were still, for other phones, crazy expensive, but lower than they are now.
Well, you were still on that subsidized sweet deal.
You were still on your parents' thing.
I can get the new iPhone for $200 plus $500 a month, but it's worth it.
So now we would be looking more for a deal.
Well, I'll tell you what, Amazon supposedly, theoretically, maybe
bringing it back.
They're looking to buy Boost Mobile. Boost is owned by Sprint. And so Amazon buys that. And then you buy Amazon.
But Amazon's not buying, they're not working with Sprint on that. They would just be buying Boost from Sprint.
They would, but, and I mean, this is theoretical, but the thing you got to understand is almost every major carrier has like their mainline brand, and then they got their cheap knockoff brand.
But you're still using Sprint.
You're still using their network when it comes to whatever. And so as a result, Nikki, that might be
Amazon's new thing.
And then Amazon would be able to do things like, oh, yeah, you can stream Amazon movies for free as much as you want.
Ooh, that could be good.
You can stream Amazon music for free as much as you want, et cetera, et cetera.
It's not who you want to be telling you those things.
It's not.
I mean, Amazon's still fine and nice, but oh well. I don't know if that'd be enough for me to move from what I have.
Well... Okay.
I'm on a business plan.
And it's not for you.
I know it's not.
Like, Nikki, you're over there just like, I don't care what Apple wants. I'll pay it because I need it.
Well, we have an understanding.
Mommy needs her hit, okay? I have to have it.
What are you talking about?
Num-nums for Nikki, right?
It's not like that.
Isn't it?
I'm not snorting my phone. Like, that's not the high we're getting.
But you're sleeping with it?
No, it's just right next to me. It's fine. It's got its own area, its own apartment.
You
full space.
You wake up in the night, just reach over and touch it just
Make
to
sure
reassure
it's fine.
know you're there. I always like to know you're there.
So that's the talk is that Amazon might be buying Boost, which would then be them going back into the cell phone game.
That's right.
For their Fire.
Oh, yeah. You know, the tablet game for them is pretty good. I have...
Does it still do well? I just know that that's what they push, like every possible holiday.
It's on sale every day.
It's always on sale.
The only thing I don't like about it is it really does... You can do other things with it, but make no mistake, it's there to get you to buy something from them.
Sure.
You're bringing an Amazon ad into your house. That gets a little annoying.
But what's the screen size?
And does it take pictures?
Okay.
How much is it?
All we care about. Can I make a call with it?
I mean, I will say I bought, what was it, a 10.1 inch, the Amazon Fire HD 10 or whatever. It was $100. For what I paid for it, pretty hard to beat.
Things are never as bad as they seem, except when it comes to the riot. Then they're worse. They're always worse. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Now, Nikki, I will tell you that what I am about to tell you is potentially going to change our relationship forever.
Okay, in a good way or a bad way?
Well, Nikki, that's up to you.
All right, how I take it.
Because I will just tell you right now, like, what is it? Circumstances plus response equal outcome.
Sure.
You can't change the circumstances. You can only change your response.
So let's see what my response will be.
But let's be clear, Nikki. You can still change the outcome.
Yeah.
But you can only change your response.
Okay.
I am a Saudi royal prince.
You are?
I am. I'm part of the royal family, Saudi Arabia. They kicked me out, but I'm still...
He doesn't talk about it a lot, but it's a thing.
I am. And that's why you always see me driving around in my Ferrari and wearing all these rings and, you know, various things like that. But I am part of the Saudi royal family. There is a guy from Michigan who has managed to run that scam for 18 years.
I saw he got a lot of money. A lot of stuff.
Dude.
So basically, he was just lying that he was like a sheik.
So he's from Colombia, but he was adopted by a family in Michigan. And at the age of 17, he just started running the scam. And he would tell people like, oh, yeah, you know me. I'm Prince Khalid bin Al Saud.
Well, he would pretend to be a part of the royal family for when trying to get investors into these fake things.
Yeah.
So he'd be getting money from people, but they didn't realize he did not have the backing of any royal family at all.
He was just spending their money.
Pretty much.
You know, he took money and did all kinds of things. Bought a Ferrari. He's renting a house in Miami. I mean, in fairness, a very nice life he's made for himself.
He's put in about the same effort you might for like your job for this big scam.
Well,
it's become a job for him.
I'm just going to tell you right now, his job is paying a lot better than mine.
Is it? But not anymore. It came to an end.
It did come to an end. And so he ended up getting caught. Here's how they caught him. I love this. So he was in Miami, like basically meeting with all these big people. He's like, oh, yeah,
investors,
we're going to invest in this. We're going to make this. We're going to do that. But what they noticed is he kept eating pork. And they were like, why is this guy who's supposed to be a Saudi prince, which would not eat pork, why does he's eaten pork at every meal that we've had with him? Something's off. Then the digging began.
And they started?
And he would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddling pigs.
Now, why are you wondering about how people's response will be for this?
Well, when they found out I'm a Saudi prince?
Oh,
well, Nikki,
for you?
I'm just saying that obviously you're going to want to give me a lot of money.
Sure.
And I'm going to accept it.
You are?
Yeah, I am. And I'm going to invest it in some really nice things. You know, I can't help but feel like if only Anthony, that's his real name, would have sat down and watched Aladdin, where, Nikki, he would have learned that being a fake prince is not the answer.
You're right.
Prince Ali is not real. Mm-hmm. Instead, you just need to be yourself, because Jasmine will love you for who you are.
I don't know if he was doing that for love of like a person or for the love of money.
Well, I mean, I can't be sure.
I think it's probably more along those lines.
The only thing I will tell you this, though, is like the lesson that we all learned from Aladdin, it doesn't work if you're ugly. That's what I found. Like, because I'm like, hey, I'm just a poor street rat. Love me. And they're like,
but he was a handsome one.
Yeah, see, handsome street rat. It makes all the difference in the world.
The worst podcast with the best listeners. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I don't know if you guys know. I'm kidding. Everybody knows that Nikki needs a bear.
I I do. I
She
mean,
needs a
I
bear.
have a dog and a cat, and I don't think I can actually really have a bear like in my area.
Yeah.
But if I could, I would like a little baby bear.
What if you had a bear and you had it declawed and de-toothed? So it was just a gummy bear, and you could feed it honey, but it couldn't really hurt you that much.
No, I mean, if it's kind of like when you declaw a cat, sometimes they can be meaner because they've lost their
ability to defend themselves.
Yeah, so they just feel more threatened more often. And if you take the bear's teeth as
and does
well,
it-
it
wait.
must be just a mess.
Pause. Does anybody else feel like that's a metaphor for your own life? You know,
When someone takes your claws away?
the thing that made you feel strong has been taken away from you, and as a result, now you find yourself lashing out just to prove to yourself that you're strong.
True, that is something right there.
Man, you know, more on my YouTube channel later, okay? We'll talk about that. But
the bear in all of us.
in the meantime, Google has apparently added to their search results. You can, if your
What
phone,
you've always wanted, right?
if your phone can do this, and not all phones can, but if yours can, they've added what they call an AR feature, which is augmented reality. So in the search, it'll say meet a life-size blank up close, and you can tap it, and then on your phone, it will make it appear like there is a panda in the room with you.
So, yeah, say you searched panda and then that was the option. Then you could put the panda in your room or show you in your house or like walking down the road. And you can do this with a bunch of animals. So it'll show you kind of the size compared to your space,
Including,
but not limited to giant pandas, lions, European hedgehogs, an anglerfish, and alpine goats, sharks, lots of different options, apparently.
okay, does your phone do AR?
I don't know, does it?
Okay,
Should we know this?
I was asking because I don't know.
No, by me throwing it back at you, I thought then you could look it up for me.
Let's see. Meet a life-size tiger. There we go. It's on the thing. I'm not actually getting the option to do that. I'm going to take a guess. And I mean, I'm just spitballing here.
Throwing that
I'll
out
bet
there.
my $150 phone probably.
No, that's a shock. I can't believe that.
It probably doesn't do.
All of that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's just an AR feature. If you Google an animal and it gives you the meet a life size up close, then that's the feature. Then it'll show you if you show a space in your area.
All right, I just Googled tiger through the Google search app, and I'm waiting. It took kind of a long time just to even
Well, it's
pop
doing
up.
that because it knows that we're all waiting to find out.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, looks like
That's a no.
it's like the old Moto G6,
It's a negative.
you know. It's not a
You know,
G thing.
When you were looking for your phone, that's not like that was a feature that you really were looking
You're
to
right.
have. So
You're right.
I'm not surprised.
That's where they're saving some of the money.
But if your phone does it, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Because then you
No,
could see a European hedgehog life size in your room.
well, Nikki, this just allows you to indulge in your bear life. Like, oh, bear, I can see you in my phone. Won't you come out?
You can have a brown bear. There's a panda bear. All sorts of bears.
Kodiak.
The only morning show brave enough to say that Chicken McNuggets are part of a balanced breakfast. The Riot on Radio U.
Listen, I need a new friend. And I need a very specific kind of friend. I need a friend that they buy all the movies and I just borrow them.
Okay, that's what you're looking for?
Yeah.
So then you got to even buy a physical copy of it?
I don't know, whatever. But the thing is that I had people a couple times over the weekend hit me up for a movie that I didn't have. And one of them was like, well, are you going to get it?
I mean, it is true that Obi has a physical library of sorts of Blu-rays and 4K and all that stuff at home. Yes, he does.
Are you going to get it?
Well, they were just wondering in case they didn't need to go buy it for themselves.
Is there like a card I can fill out to request it so the library will get it?
And like a drive-through like our library.
You guys, do you have it? I'm just like, okay, you know what? You just made me want to never buy that movie in my whole life.
Is that a no?
That's a no.
That's a no.
I don't have it.
So why? What's the big deal?
Because
If they want to borrow it from you.
Yeah.
If they're just making sure. What if they didn't know if that was one of your, like when Black Friday rolls around, are you going to be preparing to buy it? They could wait out until then.
You know, Nikki, you know what it's like to be rich, and everybody wants to be your friend just for your stuff.
Everybody wants your collection.
They just want for your stuff. And so then every once in a while, somebody makes a little comment and you realize that you're the friend that would be going home alone, except you have all the toys. So like they have to invite you or else there's no movie to watch.
They need your collection.
I mean, in fairness, that is, you know, it's still belonging. You're still getting invited. So that's
Still
something.
Technically a friend.
But, you know, I guess what I need is I need a friend that I can start, you know, like, hey, you get that yet? So, well, we're good friends, right?
You don't want to lie
Call
to them?
me when you get it.
You go get it at Redbox, just don't tell them, or get it from the library.
Oh, yeah, my cat ate the case. You don't have a cat.
Just
It was a
ignore it.
neighborhood cat. I feed all the cats in the neighborhood, just like someone else I know. I'm sorry, what?
April, thanks for texting. Said, you know, movie club. Everyone buys a movie each and you swap around. It could totally be a company that this grows into.
Yeah. Well, think about that. It could be like a thing where like you get Blu-rays in the mail and we could have a monthly fee.
No, that's already been done. This has to be something else.
Doesn't that? It sounds innovative to me.
Seems like it.
Sounds like a great idea.
Are we going back to using discs? Because I haven't used a disc in a long time.
Whatever. Mike says I'm used like that too.
Aw, Mike.
So you know what? Instead
Hey,
of
Mike, will you text in a moment? Because Opie wants to see if you have something.
yeah, what do you got? Do you have anything? And he'll be like, no, for me it's tools because I'm a real man. People want to borrow all my power tools. Yeah, that's a phone call I don't
Do you
get.
still have one? Isn't there a movie of mine that you still have?
Yeah.
You have, is it Abraham Lincoln?
No.
Which one do you have?
You gave me the code in that because you bought
Yes,
it digitally
that's
and
right.
then bought a hard copy.
But isn't there a physical movie that you have?
Yeah.
Which one are you borrowing?
Eastern Promises?
Yes, all right. Come on. That's
What?
a good one. I don't
want
need
it?
it back anytime
You
soon.
need it
but-
back?
No, it's been so long.
Is that what you're saying?
No,
Can I get that
couldn't-
back?
I couldn't remember if there was something that you were borrowing.
Yeah, Mike says no one returns them. Man, I've loaned people stuff and had them sell it.
You did have that, didn't you? They
Yep.
seem to have forgotten that it wasn't theirs to sell in the first place.
They're just like, he don't
Aw.
need it. He don't need it.
So you won't mind at all. And then you're such a nice guy. You're like, no, it's okay.
You're like, it's fine. But remind me to never loan you anything again.
You've learned a lesson with that.
We're all learning lessons. Who wants an application to be my friend?
They even make morning people want to reach for the snooze button. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Did you see that last week McDonald's opened a new restaurant in Times Square?
No, I did not.
They did.
We've been to the one we went to, is that now the old one or is there two of them?
I don't know if the one that we have been to is still there, but
We could only go to the McDonald's in Times Square because that was literally the cheapest, even though it's way more expensive.
trust me, it's the only place you can afford to eat.
Like, I think I'll eat here.
It looks like it might be just maybe in addition to, but it's 3 stories tall.
Whoa.
But the one that we would always go to is 2 stories tall.
I think so. This
It
one
had
has
a huge open area to eat in.
This one has table service and then special hamburgers from around the world that you can have there.
Ooh, look
So
at that
45th and
Canadian
Broadway.
burgers. Ooh, what is that? What is that French fry thing they got going on there?
Is it the shaking ones or the...
No, I don't know what that is. I'll have to do a little more digging on that. But yeah, it's open.
No, it's the cheesy bacon fries.
So does that?
That's
No.
what we had everywhere.
And now they took it away.
Did you see
Makes
the
sense.
dessert section? That looks nice. There's like a cake, a fondant cake.
Yeah, but I don't think you
You
can
get muffins.
I don't think you can order that fondant cake. do
Looks
you? That
pretty
thing's-
good.
That's not fondant, Nikki. That's plastic.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it looks fancy, but I don't know that it is. Seriously, going to McDonald's in New York is just about the best place to eat. And I'm not talking about quality. Nobody said anything about quality. But the prices are still not that much higher than what you'll eat or get anywhere else.
Yeah.
Whereas every single other thing in New York, you're
Well,
paying the New York tax.
If you stay, especially if you stay like near Times Square, like
Yes.
it's just so much money, and you're like, well, I can't possibly afford the hotel and the food.
Well, yeah.
So you'll go there. Actually, McDonald's has 2 others in Times Square as well. So this is
Okay.
their third one.
Third location. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? I guess I've done both. I've gone into that McDonald's in Times Square and waited forever and then gone in and had nobody be there. The last time we went there as a show, at like 5 o'clock in the morning, I ate a sausage biscuit sitting in the window. And you know what?
You do.
Nobody cared.
So this will be one of the McDonald's that will be doing the Worldwide Favorites menu, which other McDonald's across the United States will be doing. That starts on the 5th. So in a few days for a limited time where you can try a few of the international items, and it'll be here locally in your area.
Yeah. Times Square is a cool place. When the last time I was there last summer, again, I got up early on a Sunday morning and went down there in Times Square and just drank a cup of coffee. And like everybody was at church, so there weren't very many people out there. That's the joke. But it was cool. I really enjoyed that. So in the meantime, Nikki and I are just here in this little room. There's no...
It's like our own McDonald's. Yay! 3 stories high.
Hey, you said we're getting table service. Now, are they going to be in a little bit?
It's coming soon on our mini stories, and we're open 24 hours.
Because I've been sitting here for a long time.
You're going to keep waiting.
Okay.
Wow, not only are you already awake, but you're listening to The Riot? Your day is off to a pretty rough start. The Riot on Radio U.
So we were just talking McDonald's Times Square, New York City. That's on one coast. Let's visit the other. San Francisco, Nikki. The stuff that comes out of San Francisco sounds crazy to me. I listen to all these podcasts that are based in San Francisco, and the stuff they mention offhand, like, oh, you know, just whatever. And I'm like, what? You did what?
In a good way or a bad way?
Bad. It's bad. With that being said, Nikki, I want you to know that right now in San Francisco, there's a pop-up bar that's selling $50 tickets for a 30-minute experience. And now, remember, it's an experience.
So you're paying for something. That's fine. What are we getting?
Where you get a cocktail, and while you drink it, rats crawl all over you.
Is it like a rat bar? Or?
It's like a rat bar. There
like
are rats
the
everywhere.
cat cafes, but it's rats?
Yep, that's right. Now, you can pick the rats up if you want to. You can hold them. You can cuddle them. Because I know, personally, I've always been like, gosh, you know what this place could use?
More rats, right?
You know what we could really use in here? A few more rats.
Are they banking on the fact that maybe you've had so many drinks that would be the next step of at the bar, just holding rats?
Is that what it is?
It looks like, it's what? So it's a popular venue that's known for recreating historic events. And then that's where the pop-up bar with the live rats are going to be. And it's from June 13th to the 15th. You're being charged $50, and that's what you can do.
Yep. The tickets sold out in 45 minutes.
That's a shame. Actually, they're being housed by it's a rodent rescue, a nonprofit shelter for small animals who have been abandoned.
I want to give you the direct quote from the people that opened it. Here we go. We thought, F it, this time, get drunk, see our show, touch rats, get drunk some more.
Okay. That seems like something, doesn't it?
Welcome to San Francisco.
All right. Rat Cafe. You can go there if you want.
You know what? I visited San Francisco a couple times. Like, I think I'm good.
You just be drinking on the side of the street without paying that $50 overhead price, and you're right there.
Yeah, in reality, you could buy yourself some cheap hooch, sit on the ground, and you're going to have the rat bar experience right there.
It's the same exact thing.
The same experience.
But you're saving a little bit of money. So a pop-up just means it doesn't have the same rules as a restaurant or a bar would, which is why they probably can get away with it. Is that true? I would think that would be why they could get away with it.
I mean, I guess if you know what you're in for.
Well, because remember the Taco Bell hotel that's coming in California.
Speaking of having rats crawling all over you.
There's a
direct connection. Direct connection, I think.
But I remember the local people are like, hey, they haven't filed permits. They haven't done anything. This hotel's not happening. Well, it's technically like a pop-up hotel, so it doesn't follow the same rules that you have to have with a established restaurant, bar, or hotel that'll be there for a longer amount of time.
That's
why you
why
can get away with more things.
When I get elected president, I'm going to make sure that all these pop-ups are held accountable.
Right, including the rat one in San Francisco.
I'm running on that and getting rid of the daylight saving time.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
I want to say hi to Seth and a high five, bro.
Good morning, Seth.
Do you see what he said, Nikki?
What'd he say?
Go ahead.
Just wanted to let Obi know that I went on a run for the first time in a few months and my body was so itchy. Hey, that's just like what Obi has happen.
Boom.
Like someone else has that same condition.
There's another person in the world that has the problem that I have.
Which we do a Radio U 5K for of our, for Radio U Columbus and for Radio U Ohio earlier in the spring. And whenever Obi starts training for that, you commented and mentioned how when you start running again, you start getting itchy.
I call them the itchies.
And it's an actual thing that happens with certain people.
It doesn't happen with everybody. I wouldn't call it rare, but it's not exactly common. But what happens is if you haven't, like certain things, if you haven't done in a while. So like if I haven't run in a while and I go running, what happens is blood rushes to those areas of your body. And as the capillaries expand, it basically just causes a bunch of sensations in your nerves, and your brain translates that to itchiness. And you're not really itching. Like you don't have something that's making your skin quote unquote itch, but it's just the nerves in that part of your body are like, why is all this blood?
Just take care of it,
What is
will
happening?
You? So you can't take a pill to stop it because it's just misfiring.
Do you know what you have to do?
You have to wait it out.
Endure
it.
Yeah. And so what I ended up, my way to get out of what I call the itchies, when you run I know it sounds ridiculous, but 60 seconds on, 30 to 60 seconds off.
Of allowing itching?
So you run intervals.
Oh, I thought you meant like for 60 seconds you can itch, then you take 30 seconds off.
No, you just run intervals. And if you do that, it can take a week, sometimes a little longer, but it'll go away. Yeah. But the only way to get through it is to just endure it. And I hate it.
Seth, that's Obi's thoughts back on that. You might want to add some interval stuff into your running.
I want you to know that like the itchies are enough to keep me running, because I'll literally think like you have to run a couple times this week or you're going to be back in the itchies.
You don't want that to happen.
And you know how long it takes to get out.
Well, Seth, thanks for texting. You guys can do that anytime, 877-2-RADIO-U, or message us at Radio U Riot on our Facebook page. Just throw us something there.
And if you heard me saying that, you're like, bro, you're weird. I know, right? I know.
We have found that if something's a possibility, it's probably happened to Obi before. You're like, no one else gets that. Yeah, maybe he does.
I don't know. At least it gives us material, right? We got something to talk about.
Oh, that's sad, though.
Is it?
Well, we don't want you to have to be that way. We don't want you to have the itchies.
It's too late, Nikki.
That's just your lot in life.
We're way past not being that way.
The Riot. They're kind of a big deal.
Hey, can we do that again? Maybe a little more energy?
No.
Radio U.
So I'm looking at video of these guys fighting at Burger King, which to me just seems like something you do. You go to Burger King, you take in a fight.
Seems like at any fast food place.
Yeah, it's a thing. So apparently there are two Burger King employees that are, they
are wailing on each other.
On each other. The lady was just like, yeah, I was in the drive-thru, like waiting for some ice cream, and these people started fighting, and it got real.
So it's two guys. Okay, so it's all inside. At first I thought someone was fighting like through the window and
I
stuff,
did too.
But it's not. This is all employees. So the two were fighting, and then it looks like a manager's trying to break it up, and they're throwing stuff at each other. That is bad.
So allegedly there was something. One of them's yelling about disrespecting women, and then the fight breaks out and it gets serious.
You know, it's a shame when you just sit there and realize your order's not going to go quite like this is where people behind you are going to be mad because they don't see what's going on. You just wanted your ice cream cone. That's all you wanted. Can I get it through the other window? Well, wait.
Excuse me.
Should I pull up?
Do you want me to go over here? Over to this up here?
I can wait.
You guys are just bring it out?
Is it going to be long?
Because, I know it was only $1, but you did already take my money.
I want my ice cream.
You guys took my money at window 1. We're here at window 2.
So
hello?
Apparently, an older man tells a younger guy, you're not going to disrespect women. I don't care if she's a customer or not. And then they start talking mean to each other. And then the fight starts.
Then they start not giving you your ice cream.
Can we start right after? Apparently, it started when a female customer came inside the restaurant and complained about her order.
Oh, okay. Well, again, that just feels like normal Burger King to me. What do? You get something and then you need to go complain about it because it's Burger King.
And then the fight happened. So Burger King has confirmed that the 2 men involved have been fired.
Oh, well, there you go.
Not allowed to act like that.
After I DJ'd a wedding Saturday night, and you may not know this, but every time you DJ a wedding, you get chicken McNuggets. That's the way
just what you do.
That's the way it works. And so I went to get my McNuggets on Saturday night. And I'll tell you what, fast food restaurants Saturday night, late at night, that's a great place for... Could you stop sneezing? I'm telling a story right now.
I feel like let me hear. Okay, I'm paying attention.
I'm not going to have you disrespecting men in this studio. Come at me, bro. Come at me.
I'm not fighting about that. Not fighting about that.
You know what? It's fine. Whatever.
So the lady said at the end, she finally just left. She drove off and she got her ice cream at a Dairy Queen instead.
No fighting there.
Which we've seen a fight at Dairy Queen before. We've seen some bad behavior there, too.
There's no escaping it.
There's not. It's just what can happen.
Remember, you're always just one word away from getting rocked in the face. I don't want to get punched. I don't want to.
Better just to not say anything. Don't ever complain. Just be okay with it.
I'm going home.
This was the worst of the riots, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The riot exists because Radio U exists, and Radio U only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.
F it. This time, get drunk, see our show, touch rats, get drunk some more.